Changemakers, welcome back to another edition of Changemaker Bites, the series where we dive into the previous interviews, the previous guests that have been on the Inner Changemaker podcast, the #1 podcast for self-improvement. And I'm so stoked that you guys are here because today we're going to be talking about the definition of success. And we got one of the best guys in the world to be doing it. He's an author, he speaks all around the world, he runs these amazing workshops, and with no further delays, I will let my man Jairek Robbins take it from here. Jairek, what do you got for us?
Comes all the way back to mindset, which you mentioned before. And the mindset is, am I more committed to my excuses or am I more committed to getting the result I want? That's it. And this goes all the way down to like, did you work out today? You were either more committed to a reason why you couldn't, or you were more committed to the fact that you were going to make time for it and create it no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, did you say you love, did you tell the person you love that you love them? You're either more committed to some reason and excuse of why you didn't have time to take 10 seconds to look them in the eye and really be present and say it, or you're more committed to saying, you know what, I'm willing to be 30 seconds late for my next meeting. I'm going to go look them in the eye and tell them right now. And that's commitment. It's saying, which are you more committed to? And the truth is you're committed to one of them. And many times for most people, if you try to draw a line, and I don't like categorizing people successful and unsuccessful. I think everyone's successful at something in their life. 'Cause, you know, I lived in a village in Africa with no running water, no electricity, no toilets, rural farming village. And I could meet some of the most successful people in the world there. And it's not because they live in a mansion and drive a, boat or Ferrari or some shit. It's because in their life, based on their blueprint of how they believe they should be living, their life matches that. And therefore, in their mind, they are wildly successful. And I've met people who live in mansions, drive decked out badass cars, have access to private jets, boat around the world, have the hottest people in the world that they're dating and pursuing, and they feel freaking miserable. And in their mind, they're not even slightly successful, because in their mind, the blueprint of what they believe should be happening and their actual life don't match. And that's where success comes from. It's the ability for your mental construct, your blueprint of how you've put together what success is and isn't, for that to actually equal out and match in front of you. If you want to feel successful, that can happen today. Change your blueprint.
I love this interview because Jairek is so right on a couple different levels. I remember asking him at one point in the interview, that is success all about mindset? Like, is it all about mindset? And he said, mostly, right? And I do believe that to a great extent, because I think our mindset, having a world-class mindset, having a winning mindset, having an abundant mindset, all these things, if you actually tap into that, it doesn't matter what's happening around you. You're not so reactive to the economy. You're not so reactive to a deal not working out. You're not so reactive to somebody turning you down or rejecting you, right? Because you have a bigger mindset. You are zoomed out, so you're not as attached to the actual results. But in this clip where he talks about, I think you have to ultimately make that choice, choose success, right? But you're also defining what success means to you, right? Is it about the boats, the planes, and all those amazing materialistic things? Or do you define success in a different way, right? And I think it all comes down to perspective. It all comes down to the definition that we hold ourselves to, because if we define success as having X amount in the bank, having, certain things in our lives, and every day that we are not there, every day that, if that's our definition of success, every day that we are not achieving those things, that those things are lacking, okay, that are deficient in our lives, then we are essentially just reminding ourselves of how we are unsuccessful. Right? Does that make sense? Like, if we have this definition of success and this is not true, then by default, we are not successful, right? And if I'm not successful, then I must feel like crap. I must feel like a little bit of a loser, and I must feel like I'm not doing enough. I must hustle harder, right? I must buy more things, right? I must get more. And we're in this cycle of more and more and more. As Wayne Dyer says, you can't operate, no world-class individual, what Wayne Dyer calls no-limit individual, right? No-limit mindset. He says you can't operate as a no-limit person if you're coming from deficiency. If any part of you is coming from lack, you can't do it. You can't do it because a no-limit person doesn't operate in deficiency. They don't operate in lack. I'm not saying they don't ever do it. I'm just saying they don't live there, right? They don't feel sorry for themselves. They don't take a loser's mentality. They're not a victim, right? If they recognize that they're there, they know how to switch out of it, right? So I challenge you. Think about this, changemaker. Think about this as you're watching this, right? Are you the type of person, like, how have you defined success? Right? Are you defining it from a place of deficiency and lack? Or are you defining it as, did I do my absolute best today? Right? Did I keep my word? Was I loving and grateful and nice to the things and people in my life? Right? Because I think when we made those agreements, a really great book that made a dramatic impact for me is a book called The 4 Agreements. Highly recommend it. Don Miguel Ruiz. We haven't interviewed him on the show yet. If anybody has any connections, let me know. But Don Miguel, he talks about the 4 agreements, and they're really, really difficult to actually keep, right? One of them is, your word is essentially your bond, right? Don't make any assumptions, right? Always do, the best you can. And so these are assumptions that you need to keep in your life. And I think that when you define success as those things, when you did your absolute best, when you're being out there and you're creating, right? When you define success so that you can win, you're always feeling successful, right? It's not about the material things. It's not about how much money is in your bank. There is a point to being said that money is a form of energy, right? Money is a form of value, but I guarantee you're not going to be able to achieve and maximize that if you're coming from deficiency, okay? I hope that makes sense for you guys. I hope that's relevant for you guys. And I highly recommend that you guys check out the rest of the interview with my man Jairek Robbins, because there's a lot of golden nuggets there. We talk about male-female psychology at one point. It gets really, really crazy. But I got a question for you. What is your definition of success? What is your definition of success? Let me know in the comment section below. My definition of success is that you are constantly creating the things that you want in your life. You're constantly doing and making the choices that you want in your life. If you're doing that, right? If you can take an afternoon off, if you could choose to have certain people in your life, you could choose to include people in certain things, I think you're achieving success. And that's my definition. Doesn't need to be right or wrong, but let me know your definition in the comments section below. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video, in the next Changemaker Bites. And remember, it's not about changing the world. It's about looking at the people around you, choosing them, and making sure you can be a change maker to change their world. So be a leader, be a change maker, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Peace!